Hi everybody, Mary from Blooming Rose Healing and the founder of Whale Breathing. And today's Wednesday, educating about breath. And so I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about, we're coming into a season that is, there's a lot of illness, a lot of germs, bacteria, viruses, and what in our body protects us from keeping those bacteria and viruses under control. It's the lymphatic system. And for those that don't know, the lymphatic system it's almost like this beautiful sheet, or I'm trying to think of what it looks like, but it's a bunch of it's almost like there's all these veins, let's just say, with little pumps through those veins. And our lymph nodes were all over our body. And those lymph nodes need to move to help. What it does is to help create the harmony and balance within the body. So when bacteria and viruses start to rise, the lymphatic system pumps and gets in the blood and the white cells to help keep things, in balance. So when we're in stress and shallow breathing, which, as I say many times, about between 85 and 93% of us do shallow breathing, which what that means is our breath is more upper body, and we're not getting our breath deeply into the diaphragm and using the whole breath pump to get things moving. Our body gets out of balance. So a little story. I was not feeling well. It was a couple of weeks ago. I was starting to get the sore throat and thing. And I knew, okay, it's fighting. And I kind of talked about this a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week. But the reason I'm talking about it now is to just remind people of the importance of the breathing. And now that we're moving into the holidays and there's a lot of busyness and multitasking and doing a lot that can create a lot of stress within the body, and then we get into a more shallow breathing. So back to, I wasn't feeling well. I knew I had to just come into my conscious breathing, as I call whale breathing, and allowing myself to really utilize the diaphragm and get that diaphragm moving. Because what happens with that, the lymphatic system starts to move. And when that happens, we're bringing in more blood and white, to fight the viruses and the bacteria within the body. And we're also releasing that metabolic waste within the body. Our breath is probably, diaphragmatic breathing. It's probably the best breathing you can do throughout this time in this seasonal year. And to give yourself that permission to pause and breathe and create a place of gratitude. And like I said, because we're in this beautiful month of gratitude, to let yourself take the time to breathe and really bring and get movement within that whole body, so your body can really get back into this space of harmony. Because remember, any type of message from our body is the message of, hey, we're out of balance, we need to breathe, most likely. Because dis-ease comes from out of harmony. And to bring harmony back is to bring in this beautiful diaphragmatic breathing. But it's also meeting the rhythm of that breathing. Because there really is a beautiful universal rhythm within our breath that is very aligned, believe it or not, with the planet Earth. And it's a circular breath. And that circular breath is very connected to the rhythm of Earth, because that's where we came from. So I encourage you to just start to listen, start to pay attention. And there is a time, you guys, and it is okay, that maybe my body needs support of somebody else supporting me in how to breathe. That's where I come in. I do long distance. I do virtual, meaning virtual. I also do hands-on. And it's really giving people the opportunity to learn the power of the breath. And we don't know what we don't know. And I find myself, even how much I do know, there's so much I don't know. And I'm actually blown away at how powerful the diaphragm really is within our body and how it is so wise. It's just a muscle that knows, because of whatever the relationship with that diaphragm within the body and how it all communicates. I'm not a scientist. I do know a lot about breath, but I'm not a scientist in, about how it all works. But I do know a lot. Anyway, in regards of that, it's being able, the diaphragm having this connection and how these conversations within that body create the message, we are out of whack, we need to breathe. Because sometimes we think that, when we're getting sick, yes, it is a burden, it's hard, it's a pain. But the truth is, we're getting sick because we weren't listening. And the body will give us signs of when we need to pause. The question is, do we listen to that? And when we get into those busier times, giving you the permission to pause, to breathe, to connect, and allow yourself to really, to be, as I breathe, I be. And it's okay to be. And believe it or not, as I'm breathing, the inhale is the doing, the exhale is the being. And it's being able to give myself that permission to just be in that beautiful dance of being and doing and being. And even as we are here together, I just want to have everybody take a moment, because I like to remind you of this breath, this powerful breath. And to just have you drop into that diaphragm area, which is in the center here. And giving you the time to meet that beautiful circle breath. As I do that, my exhale really feels the moment of rest. So think about that. All day you're breathing, and if you're really consciously connecting to it from a more universal rhythm, every exhale throughout that day, there's a moment of rest. Wow. Isn't that profound? Every moment in your breath, you have a moment of rest. And your body will say thank you. But the thing is, I'm really changing it. It's just breathe, but like this. Because we have to be conscious of the breath. Just like when we're eating, You have to be conscious of eating and what we're putting in our mouth, and paying attention to chewing and not doing too much, because what happens, we'll choke. We'll choke. We'll swallow and the food. It's like being really aware and in the moment of my breath. And giving me also that moment of how grateful I am of this body and how it speaks to me and how it tells me the warning sign. Because the body is very wise and it will let us know. And now it's that time of taking time to really listen. And it's not just from a physical, you guys, it's from the physical of body, soul, which is emotional. Energy and motion is emotion. And when those emotions are too repressed and there's too much, we get in reactive mode. And spiritual, which is when you feel that disconnect and depression, addiction, in a kind of mindful, very mind hamster wheel thinking, because you're not connected. And all of that will manifest into dis-ease. So take a moment and say thank you. Thank you, body. Thank you, breath. Thank you, diaphragm. Thank you, lymph system. I cannot say that word. I'm sorry. Lymphatic. I don't know why. But to know that my body knows if I'm willing to listen. And I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday with family, however you celebrate, if it's family, friends, or even just meaning to be quiet with yourself, to really tap in and meet the gratitude. Meet you from a place of love, from a place of compassion, from a place of tender, loving care. Thank you for stopping by, and I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving and to be continued. Bye-bye.